What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, June 1st. Now, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to the sim results as we get closer to lock. And finally, let me know in the comments section who is your favorite and least favorite of my contenders for today's slate. We are rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Damian Lillard, Evan Fournier, Yusuf Nurkic, Devin Booker, and NIKOLA JOKIC on the outside looking in. Who will be my favorites? My top 5 plays for today? It's time to find out. First up at number 5, we're going to power forward center eligible Robert Covington. He is 4,800, projected for 26. The goal is 33, and he is in the optimal lineup 29% of the time. Covington's playing big minutes, somewhere around 36, and in game 5, with everything on the line, you could even see a little bit more. He's a 0.72 fantasy point per minute guy in this game, 10% usage, and a stat line that's not all that exciting. A little over 8 points, 7 boards, almost 2 assists, 3 stocks. That's the big piece. You need Robert Covington to be involved defensively, but the big piece here is you could roster him at power forward or center, which is obviously great, and he's sub 5K for 36 minutes of game time, or potentially more. I love the value on Covington. You're going to need a little bit of everything for him to get it done, but at the same time, 4,800 also cannot kill you all that bad. So I like getting to Robert Covington today. He's not the best per minute guy, but I really do like buying the minutes cheaply. At number 4, we're going to Boston, and we're grabbing point guard, shooting guard, eligible Marcus Smart. He's 6,500, projected for 35.5. The goal's 44. Optimal lineup, 31% of the time. Not expecting to see Kemba Walker here. Not expecting to see Robert Williams either. You expect Marcus Smart to give everything. It's a bad Brooklyn defense, but there's a decent chance that Boston just gets straight up smacked here. So the minutes are a question, but I did give him 38. It's about a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy, 16, 6, and 5, plus 2 stocks. You know you're getting effort out of Marcus Smart, unquestionably. The question will be, can Boston keep it close enough that Marcus Smart can play enough minutes? I think that they can, or at least keep it close enough that Smart can get into like the 34 range at the minimum. That will be enough here in this spot, given no Jaylen Brown, given no Kemba Walker, because Smart's just going to do a little bit more. It's a scary spot, but I'm not too worried about it at 6,500. At number 3, we're going to the other option from Boston. That would be power forward eligible JAYSON Tatum. He is 10K, projected for 56. The goal is 67, and he is in the optimal lineup 32% of the time. For Boston to be competitive, JAYSON Tatum is going to have to score. I'm not saying that we're going to need 50 real points again, but he's probably going to need well north of 30. I've got him in for 40 minutes, 1.39 fantasy points per minute with no Kemba, no Jaylen Brown, 35% usage, and 33 real points. That's what we're talking about as a baseline. 8 boards, 5 assists, 2 stocks. I think JAYSON Tatum looks incredible here. I'm not at all worried about this Brooklyn defense. Tatum's going to take every single shot that he wants. If the game stays even mildly competitive, JAYSON Tatum will be essential for today's slate. At number 2, we're off to Denver. Small forward, power forward eligible Michael Porter Jr. He's 7K, projected for 38. The goal's 47.5, and he is in the optimal lineup 33% of the time. It hasn't been going great for Porter so far in this series, but I think that he can wake up here. 1.09 fantasy points per minute in 35 minutes, 24% usage, 23 real points, and that's the big key. Michael Porter's got to get back to scoring again. He only took 3 shots the last game, 7 boards, and then very little else. Maybe an assist, maybe a steal, maybe a block. I think Porter's got to wake up here for Denver to be able to move forward in this series. I'm expecting Denver to move forward in this series, which means that I'm expecting Michael Porter Jr. to have a solid day here. I don't think 38 fantasy points as a projection is unreasonable, and for him to get to 47.5, he does that 21% of the time. I'll take a 1 in 5 chance that Michael Porter has an outlier scoring day. Now, before we get to the number 1 contender that absolutely no one is going to predict, one last time, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Then follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. Only place you can get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. Finally, in the comment section underneath this video, I need your favorite contender, your least favorite contender, and the contender that you thought was going to be on this list that you do not see. And spoiler alert, I'm assuming that guy that you're going to name is LeBron James. He's not my number 1 contender. The opposite is. Raise your hand if you expected point guard eligible Payton Pritchard to be the #1 contender for today's slate. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to see any hands in the air. 3,200, and that's the big key here. Projected for 19. The goal is just 23, and he is in the optimal lineup 39% of the time. With no Kemba, Pritchard's minutes are kind of firm. I gave him 23. That's where he was in the last game. He's just north of a 0.8 fantasy point per minute guy, 17% usage, 10 points, 3 boards, 2.5 assists, maybe a steal. Bad defense against Brooklyn. Hopefully we get... Here's the real benefit for Pritchard, because I think that he can get 2 or 3 regular rotations by default, and at 3,200, you could luck into some scoring. But if this becomes a blowout, we might see Payton Pritchard closing in a blowout in a playoff game. That's who I would want to give that additional time to, not the total end of the bench. So I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that he could even pick up an extra minute or 2 just in case this game gets out of hand. I think he can thread the needle a little bit there. But at 23 minutes, I don't think that I'm over projecting him for this scenario. And at 3,200, even if it doesn't go well, it doesn't kill you. Does it stop you from winning? Yeah, probably. But for him to be 3,200, just given the makeup of this slate, he really does unlock your Jokic's, your Lillard's, your Jason Tatum's. Makes it a lot easier to pay up elsewhere. So, Payton Pritchard is the #1 contender for today's slate. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders on DraftKings for Tuesday, June 1st. Process show is in the books. Go watch that. FanDuel version of this video exists, and you can watch the strategy show at 10 a.m. with Laffy. Not going to want to miss it. I'm not on live before lock, so keep your eyes peeled to my Twitter if you want to get the updates to these sim results. Good luck tonight, everybody. I will talk to you again tomorrow morning for another edition of the Contenders.